The title of the presentation is Dragon Street and Tiger Market, digital mapping of special ethnic minority toponyms in Southwest China. And so Liao is an associate professor of English language and linguistics at Nanjing University of Information Science and Technology, China. He is now a postdoctoral researcher at Leiden University, the Netherlands, and his research interests include cognitive linguistics, corpus linguistics, onomastics, and digital humanities. Xing Zhao is a PhD candidate in social and behavioral sciences at Leiden University, the Netherlands, and her research interests include education, child studies, social statistics, onomastics, and digital humanities.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone around the world. My name is Jiehai Liu. I'm a linguist at the Nanjing University of Information Science and Technology in China. Also now a guest researcher at Leiden University in the Netherlands. I'm so glad to present our study to you on this special occasion. The title of our paper is Dragon Street and Tiger Market, Digital Mapping of Special Ethnic Minority Toponyms in Southwest China. In Southwest China, there are some particular toponyms with pattern of 12 earthly branches, namely Zodiac signs and street market combinations like Dragon Street or Tiger Market, Longjie or Huchang in Chinese. This study will extract such names from the National Database for Geographical Names of China and analyze their geographical distribution or spatial distribution using CARTO GIS platform. The results will verify some major arguments regarding the origin of this naming tablet, that it is either of Yi or Miao or other origins. In Chinese tradition, the method of stems and branches chronology uses 10 heavenly stems, 10天干, and 12 earthly branches, 12地支, to combine 干支. 干 means stem, 支 means branch. And this combination, right, to indicate the serial numbers of the year, months, and the day, with a cycle of 60 terms. As you can see from the table, mathematically, there should be 120 combinations of heavenly stems and earthly branches, but due to the necessity of matching yang and yang, yin and yin, and here yang and yang can match with each other. So there are only 60 combinations for 天干 and the 地支, or 干支in short. Well, in China and Asian countries, the 干支 method has historically been used to record the time. And using 干支 method to chronicle the days, a cycle corresponds to 2 months. Well, this method can also be used to represent the 12th month of the year or the 24 hours of a day, of course, in 12 segments. As you can see from this table, 子 means rat, and it corresponds to the 11th month of the Chinese lunar calendar, and 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., 2 hours. Well, for easier memorization, the Asian people, Chinese people also designed 12 animals to match each 12 earthly branches. And each zodiac sign represents a year or month or a day. For example, rat can be used to represent the year of rat, and ox can be used to represent a month of ox, And the tiger can be used to record the time of the day of tiger, etc. Well, in southwest China, especially in Yunnan, Guizhou, and some part of Guangxi provinces, this particular typonym with this pattern of 12 Chinese zodiac and street or market combination, and this pattern is repeatedly used, which generates 24 variants. As you can see from the table, we have 12 different streets like Shujie, Niujie, and 12 different markets here like Gouchang or Zhuchang, etc. So why so special? First, such a way of naming places seem to be limited to parts of Yunnan, Guizhou, and Guangxi in southwest China. And second, the naming tablet is heavily reused. Well, more than 20 variants are derived, as you can see from the table. And in this study, as many as 600 place names of this type were extracted from the database. Well, therefore, there are two main research questions. One, how are such typonyms spatially distributed in parts of southwest China, in Yunnan, Guizhou, and Guangxi, etc.? And the second question is about origin. What is the origin of this naming tablet? Well, previous studies have largely focused on the cultural and historical origins of this naming tablet and regional distribution of its variants. But there is lack of quantitative research on their spatial distribution, geographical distribution, and the relationships between the different cases. And then previous studies on regional distribution of such place names have several limitations. First, like the data sources are mainly local records, and the manuals of provincial administrative divisions. And these data were recorded mainly in 1990s. And they discusses, or some researchers discuss the situations in Yunnan and Guizhou separately. And there are even studies that suggest that it is unique in only one province. And also, previous studies lacked the support of accurate data sources from specialized databases. While geographical studies are good at using GIS system to do research on the spatial distribution of place names in Yunnan. Take one's research, for example, but this method has not yet been used to analyze the features of these zodiac toponyms in these provinces. Many papers demonstrated the value of GIS-based analytical methods in toponymical studies like this one, published in Nain in 2022. And using databases, corpora, and GIS systems for data analysis is becoming a viable new trend in name studies. Well, let's review the previous studies on origins of naming tablet. Argument 1 of Yi origin. This naming method may have originated from Yi culture, according to some scholars. Their evidence is that there's no cultural taboo against tigers and snakes, because for Yi people, tigers and snakes are lucky animals. So it may be related to Yi culture. Well, this reference is based on non-direct evidence and lacks support from other historical sources and the data. Argument 2, Miao origin. Other scholars believe that the naming tablet originated from the Miao, as evidenced by the Miao oral epic, that is Ya Lu Wang, records the culture of Miao ancestors who studied the 12 zodiac signs to mark the day or to record the time of days. Well, argument 3, most scholars believe that the naming tablet is the product of the fusion of Yi and Han cultures. The arguments include, first, the migration of Han from the Midland, that means the inner land of China, to these outskirts regions like Guizhou and Yunnan, coincided with the formation of such place names. And secondly, the 12 animal calendar popular in the Yi settlements is quite similar to the Chinese Ganzhi. Well, however, these arguments can hardly be used as direct evidence to prove the specific assimilation process of Yi and Han cultures. And argument 4, some scholars also believe that the way the place is named is based on the cultural fusion of the Miao and Han peoples. The argument is that it can be inferred from the literary works and some historical materials that they were already marketplaces in Jiangxi and Sichuan in the Midland during 7th to 10th century. That was Tang and Song dynasties. And with the Han people's migration to Guizhou, there were place names there in the Ming and the Qing dynasties about 17th to 20th century. And that also used the stem and the branch Tiangan Dizhi to record the days. Although there are historical records of such place names appearing in the Midland, but such records are rare and fragmented. Well, the data for this study were collected from the National Database for Geographical Names of China, which contains 12 million entries of geographical names. And most of the entries contain abundant information such as coordinates, administrative regions, and history and the meaning of these names, etc. And you can follow the URL to find the online interface for information retrieval on this database. Well, the database shares an open API for data retrieval. So for data collection, we use API and together with Python scripting, we used Python programming to obtain these data needed for study through API interface. So API here is like a key. We use this key to open the door of this database and to find these key terms in the tables, and then we compiled 2 blocks of codes to query the unique ID of place name. For example, Longjie here, it has a unique ID, and then we use this ID to get more geographical information of this toponym. You can see another block of coding in figure 3. Well, how about the output of our data collection? In total, we got more than 16,000 place names containing 12 animal species here, and these are raw data. Well, and then we used OpenRefine, a tool for data cleaning, to clean the data, and finally obtained 606 Zodiac place names that named after the days recorded by Ganzhi. So, in other words, clean the data are those entries with 12 animal street or market combinations with the very origin for, the Zodiac origins for recording days of market, like Dragon Street. Dragon here is used as a zodiac sign for recording the day of the very day to go shopping or go market for that place. Well, and we convert the claim data into CSV files, that is readable data tables. In this format, it's quite popular, CSV, and then import them into CARTO GIS platform, that is CARTO Builder, and to create a digital map for data visualization and analysis. You can see the platform UI, user interface of CARTO from figure 4. Well, in this figure 5, it presents the basic statistical information of the 12 zodiac place names. And according to zodiac categories, the high number of occurrences are horse, goat, dragon, rooster, and a dog. And there are significantly more Chang combinations than Jie combinations. Well, figure 6 here presents the digital mapping of 12 zodiac toponyms in southwest of China. And from the figure, we can see that the Chang combinations can be found mainly in Guizhou, while the Jie combinations are mainly found in Yunnan. Well, the Chinese terms for markets in the dialects of the two provinces are slightly different, but the meanings are the same. So Chang means Jie, Jie means Chang, and both refer to market. Well, next we make revision to our two main research questions. First, how are such toponyms spatially distributed in parts of southwest China? And A, are they limited to Yunnan or Guizhou? Are they only found in the Yi or Miao regions? To answer the first sub-question, the answer is no, because they are found in Yunnan, Guizhou, and Guangxi, but are mainly located in Guizhou and Yunnan. But we can find this red circle here, and these toponyms can also be found in Guangxi. As you see from the red circle in the figure, the Guangxi part is the area bordering Yunnan and Guizhou. To answer the second question, are 12 zodiac toponyms only found in Yi or Miao regions? No. It occurs in both the Yi and the Miao regions, but is mainly located in the mixed Yi Han and the Miao Han areas. And there are few or no such cases in Yi autonomous prefectures like Chuxiong in Yunnan at the right red circle here, and Liangshan in Sichuan. Well, now the second research question and its sub-questions. What is the cultural or historical origin of this naming tablet? If is of Yi origin, what is the evidence? If it is of Miao origin, then what? And if it is derived from Han and the Midland culture, can we find any evidence to support that? Well, to answer the first question, some scholars who support this view, yes, this naming tablet is of Yi origin, and they believe that they consider the 12 animal calendar we mentioned in literature review part used by Yi people as evidence. However, we can find counter evidence. First, such naming tablet and its cases also exist in Miao region. And second, the naming tablet is not used in E autonomous region, while the 12 animal calendar has been used. Well, if this naming tablet is of Miao origin, can we find any evidence? Scholars who support this view consider Miao's epic Yaluwang as evidence. We mentioned Yaluwang, which records the 12 animals for recording dates. However, we can also find counter evidence to that. First, the naming tablet and its cases also exists in the Yi region. Second, the age or the day of Yaluwang has not been confirmed by research, and it is hardly possible to determine whether it predates the Han's 12 zodiac sign used for recording times. Well, scholars who support this view, Han's evidence or Han's cultural origin, scholars who support this view argue that historical records show that in Guangxi and Sichuan during the Tang and Song dynasties from 7th to 13th century, there were already marketplaces where days were recorded by heavily stemmed earthly branches, that is, Ganzhi. However, we say historical resources that record such information are relatively rare. And so, based on the discussion in section 4, the conclusions of the study are as follows. Using the GIS system and digital mapping, this study visualizes the spatial distribution of 12 zodiac signs names or 12 animal place names and verifies previous hypotheses about their origin. And based on the presentation of digital mapping and descriptive statistics and previous studies, this study concludes that such are characteristic naming style originated from the cultural fusion of Han, Yi, and Miao. Well, there's still a lot of information, for example, like historic period, meaning of place names, etc. In our database need to be annotated for further analysis. So our further study need to explore and provide visual information on the spatial relationships between these place names with 12 zodiac signs, and to explain why some zodiac animal combinations are more frequent, like horse street, dragon street, they are more frequent than other combinations. And we also need to explain why such place names mostly appear in villages. Well, that is all of our presentation. If you're interested, the PPT and its references are available at the following URLs. And in addition, the interactive map of the study can be accessed online, and we are grateful to your comments and suggestion. Thank you.
So while other people possibly type their questions, I have one. I was wondering whether you think that there can be kind of relationship between the fact that they are more frequent at the village level with the origins that you have, cultural origins that you have been able to track so far.
Yes, and we statistically we find these place names at villages but not towns, and according to literature and the previous studies, some of them said that that could be these villages are in the mountainous areas and quite small, and maybe just hundreds or hundreds of people living there, and then they go to this place, and then they settled down there and they make a village, and then they go to that village for exchanging commodities and goods. Then that village got that name. And for bigger towns, they have very fixed, they have more frequent, market days, like maybe 2 or 3 times in 1 week. But for these Dragon Street or Tiger Market in villages, they have 2 or 3 market days in 1 month. That's why I use these 12 zodiac names to mark 2 or 3 times market days in 1 month. And then that is the circle, and this is the Dragon Day, and we go to that village, very near, very close village, for marketing, for buying some goods. And then the next market day is Tiger Day. Then we go to another village, not very far here. But for bigger places like a town or city, they don't have that need for locate markets in these different small areas and then link them together for the continuous marketing days cycle. But they may have market days every day, or 3 to 4 time market days in 1 week. And that is also my speculation or kind of assumption for that. And I need to do further analysis from this data. And I'm sorry that this study plan to...
Thank you. Thank you so much. No, I'm just interrupting you because there is a question, and otherwise we have no time left, just 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And the question is, how do you know if a name of an animal is referring to a day or a month?
Yes. You see from the table, I ruled out other names, like take, for example, Ma Chang, horse market. In Chinese, Ma Chang can have at least 2 meanings. One is like a stable, and another is a horse market. That means we use horse day to chronicle the day of that market. And then we find this evidence from the database, because there's a column called the Origin and History of this place, and they have some official records from the local government. They fill this table and upload it to the database, and then we can judge that is that a place for raising horse, or is that a place for market dated by the zodiac sign horse. So that is the selection rule or selection criteria for ruling out other names not named after the zodiac sign, but just for common animal names. So
thank you so much. I guess that yes, it's 5 my time, and we have to go to our next speaker.
Yeah, thank you.